Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started then. Welcome everybody. I believe this is our 5th general meeting for spring semester. And this is Dunya, the president of Beta Alpha Psi. So I'll go ahead and get started. We have just a couple of reminders here. We have the e-board application coming up, and that's gonna be due on Wednesday, I believe the 4th. And you're gonna be required to do a speech on March 11th, which is our next general meeting. And well, not the next, the following one. So if you're interested in applying, it's gonna be for the president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary positions. If you wanna put your phone towards the QR code in the bottom, that will take you directly to the application. And I would love to see everybody's names on there. That's that. And then another reminder is Meet the Firm is tomorrow. So if you haven't booked your appointment yet with your firm or your recruiter, please go in, handshake, look up Meet the Firms under Fairs and book your appointments. It's going to be between 6 to 9. And for those who didn't attend Meet the Firm last semester, handshake allows you to do like either 15 or 30-minute intervals with the firm that you're interested in, and you get to talk with them one-on-one. Unless it's a group session, then you don't, but you get to talk to them and it's really fun. I enjoy doing it. I think handshake gives you more like that one-on-one interaction, and it's really cool, rather than having that Meet the Firm mess when we were in person and you barely can hear the person you're talking to. So please go ahead, and I think they're still open, right, Samantha? They're still open until tomorrow. Yeah, so you can still take your appointments all the way until tomorrow at 6 p.m. So please go ahead and do so. Don't forget about that. And then Samantha will take it from here. Oh, don't forget to follow us on social media and join our group chat.
Hey. Hi, everybody. I'm Samantha. I'm the Vice President of CPSA. We also are having e-board applications. Again, the deadline is March 5th at midnight, and you have to be ready to present a speech on March 11th at our general meeting. And next slide. And then also, if you haven't applied to CPSA, the membership process is to request a form from one of our directors, either Denise or Roanne, and then fill it out and send it back to us. And then this is what our application form looks like. It's a yearly fee of $60 and a semester of $35. And if you're a Beta Alpha Psi member, it's $45 for the year and $25 for the semester. And also follow us on social media. We have a lot of updates on our Instagram. So CBP, CPSA for all the updates.
And then go ahead and welcome our guest speakers with us today. We have a lot of them, so enjoy the presentation. If someone's talking, you're muted, so make sure to unmute yourself.
Hey there, everybody. I guess I'll start it off. My name is Dennis. I'm an audit manager over at Eide Bailly. Matt's sharing the screen right now, so you can take us to the first slide. Awesome. So today we're talking to everybody at Cal Poly. I'm an alumni, and I believe most people, if not everybody else that are on this chat, are alumni as well, which is really cool for us to have this opportunity to be able to talk to everybody. Dixie is our campus recruiter, and she's the one that kind of reaches out and sets up these events. Unfortunately, today she had a family emergency, so she's unable to make it. So we're going to do the best we can to try to replicate what Dixie would have said. However, you know, we're not really mind readers, so we may miss a thing or two, but we can go ahead and give you Dixie's contact information if there's anything we are missing in this presentation, and she'll reach out to you further on along the line. Now, one thing I do want to mention as well is I'm working from home, and during this time I do have puppies that are just barking like crazy. So if I have to mute myself for a random reason, someone may jump in and take over, and so I do want to apologize for that. I know on the line as well we have so myself is Dennis, and then if everybody else wants to introduce yourself too from Eide Bailly, we can kind of then go forward.
Want to go first, Matt?
You can go first if you want.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Lauren. I graduated back in December of 2019, and I started with Eide Bailly January of 2020 as an audit associate in their Rancho Cucamonga office. And now I'm currently working from home. Go ahead, Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt. I started working for Eide Bailly August 3rd. I'm an audit associate, and I graduated in, I believe, May 15th last year.
Okay, I will go next. My name's Ian Berg. I'm on the consulting services side, consulting services manager. We deal with a lot of like government agencies, water districts, and all that fun stuff. But we're over on the other side of the coin. I'm not sure if we have any tax people on today, but we just about covered audit and consulting so far. Anybody else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Matt.
Perfect. So I also believe we may have Cindy or Shiloh, some of the partners, going to be jumping on as well sometime. So we can just continue on the presentation until then. And if there's any questions, feel free to let us know. I think we got 23 people in here, so it shouldn't be too difficult. If we've got questions, hand raises, things like that, we can, move forward. So Eide Bailly, we are a national firm, and we're located, as you can see on the map, there's several locations throughout the United States, mainly western of the Mississippi, and been around for over 100 years. Our California offices have actually been more of a recent merger that took place back last year, and sorry, 2 years, year and a half ago, something like that. I'm losing track of time, but we used to be known as Vavernick Trine Day, if you've ever heard of VTD in California. On top of that, there was also several other mergers that occurred during that time. So we are expanding pretty rapidly from that sense. So what we do is, as a top 25 firm, is we mentioned, we have tax, we have audits, we have consulting. We've got some representatives on that. I don't know if that's my screen kind of moving around or if that is, there we go. Awesome. And we've got 2,500, partners and staff throughout the United States. One of the things we're going through right now is the COVID-19 environment. So we see all these offices, but I haven't been in my office in over a year. So we are doing remote working and things like that. So if that's of any interest, I know that that's, especially in this climate, people are kind of wondering where you're going to work, what's going to happen. For the most part, I know that as of now, we're still working remotely. And that's kind of where we're going to be doing up until the foreseeable future. Not really sure quite yet on what happens, but the safety of the staff and the safety of everybody at Eide Bailly has been at the top of our partners' concerns. So that's what we've been doing, and that's we'll see how things go if we could ever get back to normal. But we'll see. That'll take the world getting back to normal. So on to the next slide. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have different services that we utilize. Audit and insurance is what I could speak to most if we end up doing one of the breakout sessions. As I mentioned, I'm an audit manager in the Rancho Cucamonga office. I could talk to you guys about that. I do commercial practice. Haven't been in the office since since the interview. Yeah, so Matt's been in the office back one time. But yeah, and Ian was mentioning he does consulting. So if we end up doing a breakout session and he has the time slot, if you guys are interested in that, that would be something you can discuss with him. Also, taxes are something that is kind of newer to the California side, but we still have we've been doing taxes for a long time. However, it's expanding rapidly, the tax practice, and so there's a lot more need for tax individuals as well. So you can kind of see a nice little mix, and it gives the opportunity to allow for what the staff, what you want to do coming into the firm and being able to do for your career. I know when I first started off, my very first firm, this is my fourth firm actually I've been with, my very first firm that I worked at, I was thrown into tax, and personally, it was not my cup of tea. So having the opportunity to be able to work for different practices besides just one is actually pretty nice. Go on to the next slide. Okay, so anyone want to talk on this? Matt, you want to get this one?
Oh, all right. So we have a lot of different services we provide. Um, I would say art is the best, but this is my biased opinion. Uh, I believe that we've covered tax, we covered audit. Um, One thing I was interested in was wealth planning. I didn't actually know we had this kind of service provided here. But as you can see, we offer a variety of services. And if you have a specialty or you are interested in one of these, I'm pretty sure during your interview you can mention that, and they will accommodate you accordingly.
Yeah, I just want to add if you could go back to that slide, I just
Oh,
want to add a
sorry.
couple of things because we do offer a wide variety of services, and it's kind of like, you always think I'm going to go into audit or I'm going to go into tax or the lesser known, consulting. But someone from the consulting side actually just started up. I think her name's Fung, and she just started up the data analytics department over down here in Southern California. So she's kind of branching off and starting something new. So just so you guys know, you don't have to box yourself in over here at Eide Bailly. There's opportunity for all different types of services we could offer our clients.
Yep, and I'll piggyback on that as well. With things like the data analytics, with some of these different more niche specialty areas, there's also opportunities that we have in the firm to do exchange programs, where if you want to test out a specific field, if you want to test out a certain team or something like that, you can apply for a few month stint to go on and work with another team to see if that's maybe something you're a little bit more interested in. Myself personally, I'm working on the commercial team. I do commercial audits. However, I'm interested also in looking into data analytics and being able to utilize that for my clients. So I just accepted a position in doing some of their exchange programs. So I'll be working with the data analytics team throughout the summer to see how I can either utilize it for our clients and build upon that as well. That's a great point, Ian.
I believe there's
Yeah,
a
of course.
restriction. Sorry, I believe there's a restriction of transferring over to a different specialty. I think you have to be there for at least a year to be eligible for the exchange program.
That's a good note as well, Matthew. Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead and go on to the next slide here. Okay,
Okay.
I'll take this one. Industry depth. I mean, we have a wide variety of different industries that we serve with all of our different services that we offer. For example, I deal a lot in government, special districts in California, but like Dennis said, he's in commercial audits. But we do different things like affordable housing, dealerships, various financial institutions, insurance, higher education. So if you are particularly interested in a certain type of industry, chances are that one of our services works with one of these industries. So you can get in there and sort of tailor your career to what might interest you.
I believe when you first start, you'll be in a staff pool, like I was, and you'll have the opportunity to work with different practices. I remember one time the Nevada branch contacted me to do an inventory count for one of their clients that had a branch here in California, and I went out to the client site in full regalia. I had the mask, I had a hard hat, I had like a face covering, and oh man, it was pretty fun. My arms are sore. I haven't been out with a backpack or anything for I don't know, like a year after school.
Yeah.
So I was walking around like counting all the machines and everything. It was kind of fun. I really enjoyed that.
I actually haven't been involved in an inventory count, so that's very interesting. Okay, go ahead, Matt. I'll let you take that one.
I was gonna say, I think Lauren will be good on this one. Yeah, Lauren?
Okay, I'll take it. So our staff promise, guys, you can definitely expect a different experience at Eide Bailly. I know that when I was, back in your guys' position and I was applying to different places, for whatever reason, it's up to everybody, you know, where you guys feel comfortable. I definitely felt the most comfortable in all my interviews with Eide Bailly and Meet the Firms. Like, I don't know, they just felt very like goofy, and I feel like I'm a goofy person, and while others were just more serious. So I definitely feel like Eide Bailly will fit many of you guys that I've seen or that I know already here. But yeah, one thing that Eide Bailly is that they truly care and they really support you. You know, they definitely play a big active role in your career. So I know we do career conversations at least twice a year. So I am constantly talking to my career advisor, them telling me how I'm doing, hearing from other managers around. So it's definitely a big help. Next slide, Matt. Does anyone want to take this one? Or you guys want me to take this one too?
You're on a roll. Go for it.
I'm on a roll. Okay. So, I mean, as I was saying, you know, the main words here, you know, caring, they're passionate, they're very respectful, trusting and supporting. So I know, you know, all the staff pool, we have a staff pool chat in Teams where if we ever have questions, we're literally like messaging each other like, hey guys, have you done this yet? Yeah, I have. And, you know, we'll get on a call and we'll help each other. Or, you know, my manager or my senior, if I have questions on anything, they definitely hop on a call with me and, you know, share their screen, show me how to do things. I never feel like I'm in the dark in any way. So yeah, it's definitely Eide Bailly culture.
I'm gonna piggyback back off that. You can't be afraid to ask questions, because I believe most audit managers, if not all of them, will want you to ask the question and look stupid for a second and actually do the testing or whatever procedure you're doing correctly, rather than finding out that you didn't do it right and you had to redo it, take a lot of time, and just clock hours that you don't need to clock.
Yeah, I think half of my work day today was actually with a call with the manager, and they were showing me how to do payroll testing. So, you know, they definitely help you guys.
And I just want to put this one note out there is when you're interviewing for a position, they're not just interviewing you, you're interviewing them as well and see if you're a good fit for that environment. Because if you don't like the people you're working with, it's not going to be a good time. And when I was interviewing, I felt that, oh, you know, I think I fit in here. Everyone's very nice. Everyone, like, the mindset is very similar. So I felt that was a good fit. I think Lauren covered this already. I think the big part here is you want a career that fulfills you. Like, you have to like what you're doing. If you don't like what you're doing, it's not going to be a good time.
Definitely.
And I think the supportive and growth opportunities is the career conversations that plays a big part in promoting this kind of growth. I remember my last career conversation, I was asked, what do I want to do? What do I get better at? So I told them, I want to get better at single audits, because I feel like those are fun. I enjoy those. I think I want to specialize in something like that. I feel like I want to get good at this one thing at this moment.
I actually want to say something about people come first. I'm actually expecting. So, you know, one of the things that I felt was extremely helpful was their, what do you call it? Their program, their, what do you call it? Maternity leave or whatever. And, you know, I get a nice 3 months to myself with the baby. So I'm super excited about that. And then, you know, they ask you, you know, do you want to use your PTO? They thank you, Elizabeth.
Congratulations, Lauren.
Thank you guys. Yeah, so they're super supportive on that too. And, you know, the fact that we get to work from home when I come back, who knows when we're coming back to the office, but they're so helpful. If I have a doctor's appointment, you know, they're like, you know, you go, that's more important. So, you know, stuff like that kind of thing, you know, really sets Eide Bailly apart from other people, while other firms might be like, oh, you know, you need to be here kind of thing.
Yeah, just to add to that on the benefit side, I think there's actually a paternal leave too. Uh, Probably not. I don't think it's as long, 3 months. I think it's something like a week or 2 weeks, just for the baby bonding type thing. So even as a dad, like I would get one eventually down the road. So it's just good to know that they do care and they do know that there's things outside of work, that work-life balance that are important to you as a person.
Congrats too, Lauren. I didn't really get to say that. So we all
Thank
kind
you.
of work in different, you're getting kind of a variety of different people in different industries. None of us really necessarily work together on a basis, but we all are part of Eide Bailly. And branching off on that is we have different, teams that you work for, different industries, as we mentioned early on. And so we have it's a large company, but with a very small company feel. So the team that I personally work with on a daily basis is I have my one partner and I have 2 staff and a senior, and that's it. And then we work with the staffing pool and we utilize that on a daily basis. So I have about 4 or 5 people that I work with. I'll be working with Matt next week, actually, right, Matt?
Yep.
So I've actually got Matt on one of my clients. Speaking of which, we have Frisbee golf on Friday. I got to let you know about that. Anyway, going forward, we have kind of a, it's a different feel. And when they mention people come first, it's because you're in a large company, but you're not a nobody in a company. You're actually an asset for a smaller team. And that's really what kind of I feel sets Eide Bailly apart from all the other firms that I've worked with.
I feel like we're really transparent with the work-life balance part. Like before I started, I remember Shiloh mentioning that you might have to work Saturdays and weekends sometimes because the work needs to get done during busy season. And she was like, don't say I didn't tell you. I'm like, she was right. I did have to work through Saturday, and that was fine. I expected that. That's what I signed up for. So I'm glad they were very transparent with what they expected.
You get to work on your own time though. Just saying, I mean, if you really don't want to work on Saturday and you want to put the extra hours in Monday through Friday,
Yeah.
as long as you put those hours in, it's on you. If you want to do it on Sunday and you want your Saturday off, do it on Sunday.
I think it's also like as long as you get the work done and it's done right, they don't really mind when you do it, as long as it's done and done right. Okie dokie, opportunities. We're going to have some internship opportunities coming up. Full-time opportunities are available for juniors and seniors, and associate positions are for new college graduates. The start dates vary by office location, industry depth, business needs, and student needs. I believe you can go online to www.eidebailly.com/careers. I will put a link in that in the chat later. You can go online and check what opportunities are available and see what fits you.
I don't want to do this one.
I'll go for it. So this is self-explanatory to some degree, the required skill sets, but it's more so, just reiterating what we've been kind of mentioning throughout the entire conversation. It's more of, I would start from the bottom and say culture fit. It's really, as Matt mentioned, when you're going in for an interview and you're looking for things, it's does the firm work for you? Do you work for the firm? Get that culture fit. On top of that, we're looking for other things as well that are going to set you apart from other individuals that are attempting to get a position at Eide Bailly as well. Experience is great. Participating in any extracurricular activities, proving teamwork, because we do team activities a lot. Well, at least I do, all the time. Communication skills. You can hear me stuttering like crazy right now, but that's just because I got a camera in my face. But I'm decent at talking sometimes. Written communication is also something that's going to be really important in this career. Any sort of reports, things like that. Communicating with clients is a major part of what we do. So we look for that when we look for new talent. Having the capabilities of being able to, not only have the technical skills and the college degree to back it, but also the maturity level, and are you willing to put yourself out and ask for work and communicate that you can do specific things. So these are the skill sets that we're looking for. I know I see many faces on here too that I talked to at Meet the Firms. And I know back then we were talking about, careers and things like that and when they're going to be hiring. And that was during kind of a crazy time when we were figuring out what was going on with COVID, and some of we had hirings, but those are from the previous, some of the previous leadership programs that we had. So if we can go to the next slide.
I just want to say one thing is
go ahead.
I found like communication is really important. I think more than anything here, it's communication, because like you have to make sure that you're able to tell your lead like where you're at, make sure they're up to date of where you're at, and communicating to your clients. Like you want to sound professional. You want to make sure that you get your point across in a concise way where they understand what you're asking for. I think that there's a class in that at Cal Poly. BUS something 3000, I think.
And so this is what I was kind of leading up toward, is our summer leadership program. And this is what Dixie, this is kind of the entire point of this call, this meeting and everything, is what's going to be coming up. So a lot of times I've had individuals reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I appreciate that. And I apologize that I wasn't able to get you guys, whatever we needed to back then. Now is the time that they're looking for people to go through this leadership program. So you can see the dates on there. Starts off 3rd and 4th. As I mentioned in the very beginning, Dixie's going to be the best person to talk to about this. There's this is kind of the getting your foot in the door and being able to secure a position in Eide Bailly. This is kind of the route that they're heading in. So, there's so many of you that I met and I talked to you earlier, and I was so stoked on it. I was like, yeah, we just hire them today? And Dixie's like, okay, well, we have this program. Let's go through the program. Let's do this correct, So this is your opportunity to kind of shine. Did you guys go through this, Matt or Lauren?
I did not, but I did hear of one of my friends from school. He was doing 2 internships, like internship back to back, and then I believe they said like either we hire him or we let him go, and I think he got hired while he was still in school, which I thought was pretty cool. He was going to school, and like he would go to work in a day and then go to like school at night. He's going to like tax and stuff. So I know audit. I think it was audit. I mean, he was in consulting, so maybe that's a little different. Gotcha.
And so I see a question from Kevin and from Ada. So these dates, I believe this is the upcoming 2021. It's what I believe. I guess you can quote me on that. Yeah. And so what we're actually looking for in the program is going to have to be something that we discuss with Dixie, as this is something, I think they're more newer rolling out. Do we have Shiloh on the call yet?
I don't think so. I don't see her.
Okay. I just don't want to give any false information while we're on here. What I would say is the best thing to do is to apply. I believe it's got all the information on there, and we can discuss this if you want. I can give you my email. We can talk to Dixie to what's actually required, what they're looking for, things like that. At the moment, for me, this is a newer program, and this is what they've been saying. Wait till we roll this out. Wait till we roll this out. Well, they're rolling it out, and we will give you guys all the information on that. But that's the leadership program. Unless Ian or Lauren, you guys know anything different than I do.
I know there's a few people that actually did summer leadership programs this past year that I see on the call right now. So I think one of the best things is to ask your peers. I don't know if I think I remember seeing Allison there.
Yeah, I did the program last year.
Yeah, so definitely talk to your peers about this. I believe it's going to be something similar. I was never a student on summer leadership program, but I was on the other side where I was in Eide Bailly already, and they had like a staff like question, like what do you call it, where you guys were able to ask us questions. So I don't know how the whole thing looks like. I know it's like for like the whole day or a few hours or so. Allison can tell you whether or not, but they really just ask you guys, your experience, and then you guys get to ask us things, and then, if we match, you will see it. Yeah. So.
Lauren, I think you and I met at the last Meet the Firms in spring. Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was a little weird because I think at that point, was that going to be the first summer leadership program that Eide Bailly rolled out?
Yep, last year. So this is actually our second one.
Yeah, you know what? It was weird because that was like beginning of March, end of February. COVID was just coming out. So I remember they were like, oh, do we still have Meet the Firms? Do we do it? And they had like all the hand sanitizer out. We didn't know this monster that was going to happen. That was the coronavirus. But yeah, we did it. So it was nice because we got to do the Meet the Firms face to face, but obviously we're doing it virtually now. And I imagine that the summer leadership program went to that kind of remote environment. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure they're doing the same thing again this year. But yeah, what I remember is that they were supposed to do like a shadow. So they'd be with the firm all day, kind of talk, meet, sort of see what a day in the life of an Eide Bailly employee would look like. So that way they can sort of see, if they're a good fit for the culture and vice versa.
Yep. Yeah. So I think this is when you guys get to ask us questions, if any. Or if we can
also have some breakout rooms if we need be. I don't mind answering questions about my experience.
I have a question. Hi, this is Ada. I was wondering about the SLP programs. When you apply, does it tell you what group you're taking part of? Like I know Dennis mentioned he has a group of 5. Do you get to select, or are you placed where it's most needed?
So for the grouping that I work with, it's my team is few individuals, as I mentioned. Any new recruits, things like any new hires that we have are going to be joining Matt and Lauren, you're in the staff pool as well?
Yeah.
And have the opportunity to not only work with myself, but other industries, work with Ian, work with other teams. Your schedule's gonna have a bunch of different teams, a bunch of different things to do throughout the course of, I believe, at least a year or so, until you find a specialty, a niche. And then from that point forward, you move on and work specifically with an industry or a team. But it gives you the opportunity to, if you work with me and you say, man, I don't like this guy, then you can go ahead and work with somebody else. You tell them, hey, save me. And Ian will save you, and you go work with.
Who would ever say that, Dennis?
But or if it's the industry, it's definitely a lot different than what I was raised with in accounting firms. When I started off at accounting firms, as I mentioned, you're doing this and that's it. You wanted a job at our firm, well, this is where we need you, and that's what you're doing. And it was a little different. Now it's more where your future wants to go. And I really appreciate that about Eide Bailly. And that's, as I mentioned, this is my 4th firm, and this is where I'm at now. So that's why I chose this out of, one of the top firms I'm not going to mention, one of a lower firm I'm not going to mention, but this is why I've, decided on sticking with Eide Bailly for my career.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So I'll go ahead and start breakout rooms, if that's fine with the Eide Bailly professionals. The way that I set it up is I assigned a professional to 4 different rooms. And for the students, you have the option to choose which room you want to go into.
Man, if I'm empty.
Okay. Choose wisely, but yeah, I'll go ahead and start that.
Sure, Samantha, do we need to do anything on? Okay, I got it. I got the invite.
Okay.
Oh, find me if you want to talk about the my associate experience.
Yeah. I'm going to stay in the main room if anybody has any questions, but you should be able to go in and out between rooms if you want as well.
Thank you, Samantha.
No problem.
Do you want to describe how people can view those breakout rooms real fast, Samantha?
Yeah, sorry. So you're gonna click the breakout room button, and then it should say like room 1, room 2, room 3, room 4, and then you just click which room you want to join into.
Was
Awesome.
question, was Lauren audit?
Lauren is audit, yeah. But I mean, it's not really like, we have 3 audit professionals and 1 consulting, so it's really just whoever you want to speak to.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Can you throw me in Lauren's room?
Okay. Are you not able to? Just hold on, let me see. Elizabeth.
No, she's just being lazy. Come on.
Okay, there. Did she go in? Okay, cool. Ada, do you need to be assigned to a room?
No, I'm still looking.
Okay.
I think I have the option to move around.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Ryan, Kevin, anybody?
I've been talking to some people that have been taking it, and they're like, "Dude, it's crazy." And I'm like, "Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun." But,
That's why I take FAR first. FAR has the most like material, and since I'm in audit, I've been doing audit for like around 6 months already, and I know a little bit about audit, like what they're expecting, I think, but I haven't actually gone to the material yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I feel kind of bad for Ian. There's no one in this room. I'm gonna have to message him later. Oh my gosh. Anyways, oh man, this is sad. Oh man, let's all join Ian's room. Anyways, yeah, yeah. Ian's a nice guy. I think I met him last to meet the firms. But I think I already got a position, so I was going around like preparing stuff. There was a lot of different. Yeah, I was secretary of CPSA. If you guys remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
Alex, why are you here? Go meet somebody else. Why you meet me? You know me already, man.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to be rude and come in and just leave because there weren't any names assigned to the room. You said room 1, 2, 3. You just choose room 1 and you were here. So
Yeah, true.
That's fine. Like, but you know me. You can ask me questions all the time, man.
yeah, no, I just want to let you know before before I took off. So I'm gonna leave now. Okay.
Oh, no worries, man. No worries. I didn't mean to shoot you off. I'm just saying, just you can always ask me questions. Use this opportunity to find someone else that has a different experience.
Definitely. Okay.
All right. Have a good one. See you soon.
Right,
Kevin. Bye, Alex. Kevin, how you doing? I remember you.
Yeah, right.
Sam, I feel bad. I just kicked Alex out.
Did you really?
I pretty much told him like, hey, go find somebody else to talk to because
we know each other.
Yeah, you can ask me questions anytime. You know my number and everything. We talk, so you should just go find someone else's experience.
Yeah.
Hey, so anyone have any questions for me? Like, you want to know about my experience at Eide Bailly, anything like that? How staff pool is? The first 4 months.
How was the transition from like once you graduated to the real world, man? That's like one thing that I'm always curious about.
I always think that's a little bit difficult. Like it's I've been working before. I've had a job. I've gone to work before, but I think the environment being a kind of virtual onboarding, virtual work, you don't see anybody. There's no one at your house. You're not in the office, and that's the worst part. Because learning, I think, takes like 3 or 4 times as long. Like if I were sitting next to, let's say, a lead, he would probably be like, hey, look at this work paper, look at this is what you need to do, this is how you do it. But online, it's a little more difficult because 1, we're not always in the call. 2, it's like, what do you mean by this? Like he can't really show me, like it's a little more difficult. But with the like screen share and stuff, it's a little bit easier. But sometimes like if they're too busy to help you, like they're busy. And one time during busy season, I didn't get the help I needed. And I was on this assignment for 3 weeks. And that was okay. I was trying to figure it out myself. But in the end, it turns out that the work paper that we had was a previous year one. A lot of times we take a previous year work paper and we push it we roll forward to the next year so we can use it. Because we usually test it similar to last year. And we just get new samples and everything. But this year we were doing different testing and they didn't explain it to me in a way where, oh, we need to change the work paper. All he told me was use the audit program and previous year work paper to get started. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm new. This is my like 2nd month, and I'm worried. So I'm like, it's stressing me out because like I was really trying to get this done. I was learning how to like do certain things. It's my first time I was testing OPEB, the pensions and stuff like that, like the like CalSPERS and CalPERS for like government employees, like schools.
Yeah.
My specialty, I'm thinking I would like to do government and nonprofits. I feel like
nice.
the like K through 12 kind of thing, like school districts. I'd rather not do cities, but I'll whatever you want me to do, whatever they assign me, I'll do. So I like learning every little thing they're teaching me. I think it really is applicable because like you're exposed to everything as a staff pool member. So I think that's a really big thing is being exposed to different disciplines. Even though you feel stupid sometimes, you're still learning. Like the next week you're on a different engagement, even though you're doing like, let's say the accounts payable section, the accounts payable is different, documentation wise and how they present it and like how they treat it than the other one you were doing because they have different items, different procedures. So it was like, oh man, like they gave me a PDF of their accounts payable detail instead of an Excel file. Like, how am I supposed to look at this? Like, we have a lot of tools at our disposal to be able to convert those, but it's sometimes a little difficult. Like, it's a big learning experience. You have to step by step. I remember one advice that one of my leads told me was progress, not perfection. Like, just slowly, learn what you're doing.
That's true. You have to relearn everything basically.
Oh, basically, yeah. Like basically, you have to learn everything over again. Like I found out the grades really don't matter. I found like grades are arbitrary after you actually get the job, because you have to be able to perform the job correctly and know what you're doing. Yeah, I had to relearn a lot of stuff. I feel like I didn't know what I was doing. I'll be real with you guys. Like I felt like so dumb. Like I had this imposter syndrome. Like, is this correct? Am I supposed to be here? This seems kind of like, what's going on? But after that passed, that like, I don't know, 2 months trying to figure out what to do. Having a little mental breakdown here and there, but
that's part of it. If you don't have a mental breakdown, you're not doing it right.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's important to like take a breath and reassess. After that little I guess breakdown, I was able to figure out like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And I don't mind if you guys want to talk later or just contact me on LinkedIn. I think I have you added, right, Kevin? And I just added Lazaro. So.
Oh, I was gonna ask you something because I remember when we were still in school, you were fresh from just joining Cal Poly. You wanted to do like security, I think something with auditing. Remember that?
It was the LA Auditor Controller.
Yeah, I don't think it was forensics, but it was some. Yeah, I think it was something with.
It was the Office of County Investigations.
Mm-hmm.
The first Meet the Firms I went to, there was a guy, first desk, and I cut to them first as my like throwaway firm, just to, like practice and like get into like the mindset of actually meeting professionals. And it turns out that that's what I wanted to do. The first desk was what I wanted to do, but so I actually left that desk and I did double take. I looked back and then I saw on this guy's belt was a badge. And I was like, hey, why does he have a badge? Is he an accountant? What's going on? Is he security? Like, what's going on? But it turns out he works for the LA County Auditor Controller in the County Office of Investigations. So he investigates fraud, misappropriation of funds, and any leads that people report about like nonprofits using money for profit or like just embezzling money.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah, he catches any unusual activity, basically. Right.
And I think a lot of people misconstrue like audit, like they think it's like we're out here to get you. No, in the public accounting world, I feel that we're not here to get you. We're here to help you make sure that you're in compliance with the rules, so you don't get fined, and you're in certain good standing with all your obligations you need to meet, like debt covenants, compliance requirements. I'm doing a single audit test, and I'm making sure like, hey, does this have a proper approval from your manager? Did you sign off on your timesheet right? And did your supervisor sign off on a timesheet? Are your procedures being followed? And it's comply with federal regulations because you're getting federal money? Are you complying with like, hey, we need reports every 6 months or quarterly reports, media reports, and some kind of like a metric? So we're making sure that they're doing it correctly so they don't get in trouble. So I think a lot of people think like, oh, audit's here to get you, audit's here to find policy and nitpick. Well, we're here to make sure that you guys don't get in trouble and like you're in compliance with rules. Like we're here to help you. We're not here to like cause you trouble. Well, it might be troublesome to fix it, but do you want to get fined or you want to fix it?
Yeah.
Because you get fined and then you still have to fix it. So I'm like, might as well forego the fine and just fix it.
I heard audit is like a lot of like hands-on, like on the site, but since you guys are like virtual, like you're not experiencing any of that, huh? You're not getting the full experience.
I've done one inventory observation since I think in December. Since I started, I have not been to a client site other than that one time. And I thought it was kind of weird because I've been working at home. Like I like the autonomy, I like the trust they put in me to be able to like make sure you do all your work and like I'm not messing around or anything. I mean, of course, at home there's a lot of distractions, but it's more like, how do you say, more relaxing in sense for me because I'm not. There's no one like you know standing behind me, you know, breathing on my neck kind of thing. But I do make sure I check in with my bosses, with whoever I had to report to. Like, hey, I'm doing this. I'll update them on my progress. Like, hey, I finished this. I checked it in. I signed off on it. Can you please review it when you have time? And I make sure that every day at the end, hey, I'm at this progress right now. Do you have anything else for me to do? Let me know. I'll put it on my list. So I think a lot of things we covered on the slideshow. I think it was the. Can you see this? What was it? Where was it? Sorry, one sec. I think it was the accountability thing. It's making sure that the initiative, like if you don't have work, you ask for work because there's always something to do and it's always something to learn. I feel like since I asked like this one person, I think his name's Chad. He works for the government side, but more of the cities and municipalities. And I was asking for work because he piecemeals it to me. He gives me one at a time. It doesn't overwhelm me, and he gives me one at a time. So I learned that one thing, and then he gives me something similar. He builds it up. Like, okay, since you've done that, you can do this. And since you did this one for this client, you can do it for the other client, which is very similar. Use the same method. So it's very productive in the sense where you learn how to do it and get practice onto it. So I like that a lot. So I always asking for work.
Thanks.
So like in terms of like you feeling like you had imposter syndrome and like you didn't, you know, quote unquote belong there, how understanding were they when like if you ever brought it up to them where you're like, yo, you know, have you ever told them like I don't feel like I know what I'm doing? And how was their like reaction if you ever did that?
They take
I think it depends on the boss, but they at the time, let's say like I was a month or two in, they should expect I don't know jack shit. Like I don't know anything I'm doing. Like I have to learn on the job. And it's difficult to, well, for me, like I don't mind asking questions, but sometimes I feel like I ask them too much. But in my mind, it's like I'd rather ask it and get scolded there than later point in time where, hey, why isn't this done? Like, why didn't you ask me questions? Because when you don't ask questions, they assume you know it. You know, so if you ask questions and hey, like I need some clarification, I need some help on this, can you teach me? There's one guy, I like him a lot. His name's Alan. He got an award recently for being a good worker, the Rising Star Award. He took time out of his day when I asked, hey, I don't know how to do this testing for Title I. It's a school program, federal program. And he was like, okay, sure. End of day, let's go talk. And he spent 45 minutes explaining this to me. And I was done within the next hour. Like I was able to finish that testing because he was so thorough and explained exactly why we do this, how we do this, and what he expects. So I have a video of that, and it was really helpful because like, hey, now I know why we do this, and I can look into the paperwork and see like, oh, what they're doing. Sometimes asking, I will always ask, and most of the time they're very kind about it. Like this guy's new, he's an associate, he just he's not even a year in yet. But after like a year or two, I think the expectation is higher. But I would still ask questions because like, hey, I haven't done this before, or I'm not familiar with it, or I forgot. But it's pretty much always ask the question. Most of them are very kind about it, and then most are very understanding.
Yeah, it's better to ask the question than figure it out on your own.
Well, there was one case where I had to figure out the whole thing by myself. I had to like reverse engineer every single part, which was like an hour project turned into like 3 or 4 hours, which is like I'm billing the client 4 times as much because I don't know what I'm doing. And I felt bad about that, but it's like the boss told me to do this way, so I will follow his rules. And I asked him for help, but he was at that time he had a lot of work, and I don't want to make excuses for him, but I'm sure he was very stressed out. But he had priorities I had to deal with, and seeing that this wasn't a high priority thing, and he had to review it anyways, he's probably like, hey, I'll figure this is low priority. So in the end, one of the assignments he gave me, I had to figure out the whole thing by myself, and he was like, I made a mistake on that actually. I was missing $100,000, and he was like, "Hey Matt, why didn't you tell me we're missing this?" I'm like, "When were you gonna tell me this?" I'm like, right now. I wasn't sure that this was material or not. It's cash. It should be." I'm like, "Okay," but then I figured out where that money came from, and I put it back in. I was like, phew, so close. I was like, the amount was like, I think it was off by 2 cents. It's like super immaterial. It's even trivial. So we have like a worksheet that shows the materiality, and I didn't know like how to use that before. It took me like I think a month to like really get used to using the materiality worksheet.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Oh, honestly, I really enjoy my job. It's really fun.
No,
for me.
I know you do. I know you do. I remember at tutoring, like you were very passionate about teaching me like the financial statements and such. It was pretty cool.
I'm glad to help you out on that. I know sometimes it's difficult for people to get accounting. I try my best to make it easy as possible when I was tutoring. I used like examples like the closet example. I was really happy about that because like I think it made a lot of sense to a lot of people. Yeah, you know the closet example?
I remember the closet example. Yep.
Yeah.
with the different accounts, right? You're like, oh, like you have money stashed away in this closet, but you're trying to like I forgot it, but I remember it involved the closet.
It was more of like supplies versus like supplies expense. Some accounts you can do that, like you debit each account, like you would debit supplies expense, and then like credit your supplies because you used it already, but you have the empty bottle to move to the different storage closet, pretty much like a trash can, but just to account for that expense. One second, I want to tell my boss.
Yeah, no worries. You do your thing.
I don't. Honestly, I might just end the recording right now.
I know.
Wait, what?
She said we don't have like 10 minutes left, right?
Well,
like, you guys are recording?
Yeah, yeah. So apparently, I'm responsible for all the recordings. So I was talking to them. I'm like, which breakout room do you want me to join? And Elizabeth was telling me it doesn't work. I told her, no, last meeting, it still worked out through the break rooms. But apparently, like, they were all audit and then one consultant, so it didn't matter.
Are you recording every single breakout room?
No, just whatever I join.
Oh, man.
So nice. You're going to be on it.
Nice. Our 15 minutes of fame is here.
Right?
Hey, can you edit it so like you'll hear me like